Let me tell you something, my friend. Life doesn't change by accident. It changes by habit. Success isn't something you chase. It's something you attract by the person you become. And the person you become is built on what you repeatedly do. You see, people often wait for a big break, a miracle, or a lucky chance. But the truth is, one small habit, done with consistency and purpose, can change everything. Tonight, I want to talk to you about one habit. The one that separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers. Because once you develop this habit, your energy changes, your mindset transforms, and opportunities begin to find you. That it doesn't happen because the world gets easier. It happens because you get better. The way you think, the way you act, the way you approach every single day, it all begins to shift. So as you listen today, I want you to open your mind and your heart. Ask yourself, what if just one small change could rewrite my story? Because that's what we're here to discover. Us, the one have, and that will change. Would you like me to write 1006 keynotes next? A bridge between your goals and your accomplishment. In Jim Rohn style, for this same speech, consistency is the foundation of transformation, because without it, even the best plans fall apart. Many people start strong, filled with excitement and energy, but when the motivation fades, they stop showing up. What separates those succeed from those who only wish they did is the ability to keep going even when it's no longer exciting. Consistency doesn't demand perfection. It asks for persistence. It's not about doing everything right every day, but about showing up every day, no matter what. That's where growth begins, and that's where transformation is born. When you do something consistently, you begin to build momentum. Momentum is a powerful force. It turns effort into progress, and progress into achievement. Think of it like pushing a heavy wheel. At first, it's hard to move, and you feel like your effort is wasted. But as you keep pushing, the wheel starts to roll, and before long, it takes on a life of its own. That's what consistency does for your goals. It turns small actions into unstoppable progress. Consistency also builds trust. Trust in yourself. Each time you follow through on what you said you'd do, you strengthen your self-belief. You start to prove to yourself that you can depend on you. And once you trust yourself, you no longer rely on willpower alone. You rely on character. That's when transformation sticks. You stop being someone who just dreams of success and become someone who embodies it. Many people underestimate the power of repetition. They get bored with the process and abandon it before the results appear. But consistency is like planting seeds. You don't dig up the soil every day to see if the plant is growing. You water it, nurture it, and wait. The same goes for personal growth. The small things you do daily, reading a few pages, exercising for a few minutes, reflecting before bed, these are the invisible bricks that build the foundation of your future. The truth is, success doesn't require brilliance or luck as much as it requires patience and discipline. The person who keeps showing up will always outperform the one who only works when it feels good. Consistency creates habits, and habits shape identity. When your daily actions align with your desired future, change becomes inevitable. Every day you stay consistent, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. And yes, it's not always easy. There will be days you feel tired, distracted, or discouraged. But those are the days that matter most, because consistency is measured not by what you do when it's convenient, but by what you do when it's not. When you stay committed in those moments, you separate yourself from the crowd. You build resilience, character, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you're in control of your destiny. Over time, consistency becomes your greatest strength, the steady rhythm that turns your goals into achievements and your dreams into reality. Small disciplines, practiced daily, create massive results, because success is never the product of one grand act. It's the accumulation of countless small choices that compound over time. Most people wait for a breakthrough moment, thinking transformation happens overnight, but in reality, it's the small, often unnoticed actions that shape who we become. Every single day, the small disciplines you practice, reading for 10 minutes, exercising for 20, waking up early, showing gratitude, or staying focused when distractions arise, are the building blocks of greatness. It's easy to underestimate these small efforts because their results aren't immediate. You don't see dramatic change after one day or even 1 week. But like drops of water that eventually carve stone, consistent small actions have the power to reshape your entire life. Each decision you make, each moment you choose discipline over comfort, adds another layer of strength to your foundation. The truth is, greatness hides in the details. The most successful people aren't doing something extraordinary once in a while. They're doing ordinary things extraordinarily well every single day. When you embrace small disciplines, you begin to harness the power of compounding. Just as money grows through compound interest, your efforts multiply through consistent action. One day of progress may seem insignificant, but a year of small progress adds up to transformation. The person who commits to getting just 1% better each day becomes 37 times better by the end of the year. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters with discipline and purpose, again and again, until excellence becomes your second nature. Small disciplines also create clarity. When you practice discipline in little things, you sharpen your focus and develop mental strength. You stop being overwhelmed by the big picture because you've trained yourself to win each small moment. Each day becomes a new opportunity to practice excellence in the smallest details. Over time, this consistency shapes your character. It teaches you responsibility, resilience, and self-respect. When you learn to respect your small commitments, you gain the power to fulfill the big ones. The greatest challenge most people face is not knowing what to do. It's doing what they already know consistently. The gap between knowing and doing is bridged by discipline. It's choosing to follow through on your goals, even when no one is watching. It's understanding that the habits you form in private will define your success in public. Small disciplines don't require motivation. They require a decision, a simple daily choice to do what must be done, regardless of how you feel. Eventually, these small acts begin to transform your identity. You stop saying, "I'm trying to be disciplined," and start saying, "I am disciplined." That subtle shift in identity is where the magic happens. Once discipline becomes part of who you are, results follow naturally. Success stops being an event and becomes a lifestyle. The small, steady steps that once seemed insignificant become the powerful forces that move you forward, quietly, persistently, until one day you look back and realize how far you've come. Your environment must serve your new habit, not sabotage it, because no matter how strong your willpower is, you cannot outwork a space that constantly pulls you backward. The truth is, we become a product of our surroundings, the people we interact with, the spaces we live in, and the routines we create either support our growth or slowly erode it. When you decide to change your life, you must also decide to change the environment that shaped your old patterns. You can't expect transformation while staying in the same conditions that built your limitations. Your surroundings are powerful because they silently influence your behavior. The clutter on your desk affects your focus. The notifications on your phone drain your attention. The people you spend time with shape your standards. That's why creating an environment aligned with your goals is one of the smartest things you can do. If your goal is to read more, keep books within reach. If you want to eat healthier, fill your kitchen with nutritious food. If you want to focus, design a workspace that invites clarity and calm. Small changes in your environment can make discipline feel natural instead of forced. Often, people blame themselves for a lack of motivation when, in truth, their surroundings make progress difficult. It's hard to grow when you're constantly fighting your environment. The path of least resistance should lead toward your goals, not away from them. When you design your environment for success, you remove friction from good habits and increase friction for bad ones. For example, putting your phone in another room while you work reduces distractions. Laying out your workout clothes the night before makes it easier to exercise. These small design choices don't rely on motivation. They rely on structure, and structure is more reliable than emotion. The people you surround yourself with are also part of your environment. Energy is contagious, and you will unconsciously rise or fall to match the level of those around you. Spend time with people who challenge you, who expect more of you, and who remind you of your potential. If your circle normalizes laziness, excuses, and negativity, you'll absorb that mindset. But if your circle values growth, effort, and accountability, you'll naturally elevate your standards. Choose your company wisely, because your environment is not just physical. It's emotional and social too. Creating an empowering environment also means protecting your mental space. What you consume, news, media, conversations, shapes your thoughts and emotions. Guard your mind the same way you guard your goals. Surround yourself with inspiration, learning, and positivity. The things you listen to, read, and watch should feed your growth, not your fears. A strong environment doesn't just make good habits easier. It makes excellence inevitable. Once your environment aligns with your vision, change becomes effortless. You no longer depend solely on willpower, because everything around you supports your progress. Success stops being a constant uphill battle and starts to feel natural, even automatic. When your surroundings reflect your goals, you create a world that pulls you forward every day, helping you become the person you were meant to be. Success begins with mastering your morning, because the way you start your day sets the tone for everything that follows. Your morning is the foundation upon which your entire day is built. When you wake up with intention, clarity, and focus, you create momentum that carries into every decision, every conversation, and every action you take. But when you start the day in chaos, hitting snooze, rushing, scrolling through your phone, you hand control of your day to circumstance instead of claiming it for yourself. Mastering your morning is about taking ownership of your mindset before the world has a chance to shape it. The early hours are sacred. They offer peace, silence, and clarity that you rarely find once the world wakes up. This is the time to invest in yourself, to center your mind, and to prepare your spirit for what's ahead. A powerful morning routine doesn't need to be complicated. It needs to be consistent. It might begin with gratitude, a few moments of silence, a short workout, or reading something that inspires you. The goal isn't perfection, It's alignment. You're training yourself to approach the day intentionally instead of reactively. When you win the morning, you win the day. The small habits you practice early create a ripple effect that strengthens your discipline and confidence. For instance, if you commit waking up early and follow through, you start the day with a small victory. That sense of accomplishment builds momentum, and momentum creates confidence. You've already proven to yourself that you can keep a promise, and that self-trust influences every other action that day. It's not about what time you wake up. It's about how you wake up with purpose, not panic. Powerful morning also gives you clarity. It's the time to reflect on what truly matters and align your actions with your priorities. Without that reflection, it's easy to get lost in distractions, reacting to other people's demands instead of focusing on your goals. Spend time each morning reviewing what's important, visualizing your outcomes, and grounding yourself in gratitude. When you do, you'll find that challenges throughout the day no longer throw you off course. They simply become part of your process. Physical energy is also shaped by how you begin your day. Moving your body early boosts your energy, improves focus, and awakens your spirit. Feeding your mind with something positive, whether it's reading, journaling, or meditation, sets a tone of discipline and optimism. You're training both mind and body to work for you, not against you. Over time, this discipline compounds, turning ordinary mornings into powerful rituals of transformation. Most people underestimate how much power they give away in the first hour of their day. They wake up reacting to the world, emails, messages, news. And by doing so, they start from a place of stress instead of control. But those who master their mornings begin with creation, not reaction. They lead their day instead of following it. The way you greet the morning determines the kind of person you become. Focused, grounded, and ready to face anything life puts in your... The habit of reflection turns experience into wisdom, because without reflection, even the best experiences pass by without meaning. Every day we move through challenges, victories, mistakes, and lessons, yet so many people rush through life without pausing to understand what these moments are trying to teach them. Reflection is the process that transforms information into insight. It allows you to connect the dots between what happened, why it happened, and what can be done better next time. Without it, you might repeat the same mistakes or overlook the growth hidden inside your struggles. When you take time to reflect, you gain clarity about yourself. You begin to see patterns in your behavior, your thoughts, and your choices. You notice what energizes you and what drains you. You understand your strengths and identify the areas that hold you back. Reflection is like holding up a mirror to your life. It doesn't judge you. It reveals you. And that self-awareness becomes your greatest advantage, because you can't change what you don't understand. The moment you start observing yourself honestly, you gain the power to evolve. The most successful people in any field practice reflection regularly. They don't just move from one task to another. They pause to ask questions. What worked today? What didn't? What did I learn? What can I improve tomorrow? This simple practice keeps them growing steadily while others stay stuck. Reflection doesn't require hours of meditation. It can be 5 quiet minutes at the end of your day, writing down a few thoughts in a journal, or simply sitting in silence to review your actions. Those few minutes can reveal lessons that years of experience alone cannot. Reflection also strengthens gratitude and perspective. When you look back, you realize how far you've come and how many small victories you've already achieved. In moments of struggle, reflection reminds you that you've faced challenges before and found a way through. It grounds you in appreciation instead of frustration. It shifts your focus from what's missing to what's meaningful. That mindset not only reduces stress, but also builds resilience, because you learn to see life as a teacher, not a test. Another gift of reflection is that it deepens your purpose. When you regularly take time to think about your choices, you begin to see whether your actions align with your goals. You recognize when you're drifting off track and can gently steer yourself back in the right direction. This alignment brings peace and focus, because your daily efforts start to feel intentional rather than random. Life becomes less about reacting and more about creating. In a world filled with noise, reflection offers silence. The kind of silence that speaks truth. It's the moment when wisdom whispers, when lessons solidify, and when growth becomes visible. People who make reflection a daily habit develop calm confidence because they understand themselves and their journey. They don't just live, they learn. They don't just move, they grow. And over time, this quiet practice of reflection becomes the bridge between who you were and who you are meant to be. Change your routine, and you'll change your destiny, because the structure of your days determines the direction of your life. Every routine you follow is either moving you closer to your goals or further away from them. Most people live on autopilot, repeating the same patterns without questioning whether those patterns serve their dreams. But when you deliberately design your routine, you take back control. You stop drifting and start directing your life toward purpose, progress, and fulfillment. Your future isn't shaped by what you occasionally do. It's shaped by what you repeatedly do every single day. A powerful routine builds discipline, and discipline builds success. It's not about filling your day with endless tasks. It's about creating consistency around what matters most. When you start your mornings with focus, your mind learns to stay centered. When you dedicate time to learning, your wisdom grows. When you commit to health, your energy expands. These small, intentional routines compound over time, turning effort into excellence. The magic isn't in the size of your actions, it's in their repetition. Every great achiever, from athletes to entrepreneurs, understands this truth. The secret to success lies in the rhythm of daily habits. Your routine is also a reflection of your standards. If your days are filled with distractions, procrastination, and chaos, your results will mirror that. But when your days are structured with purpose, clarity, and commitment, your life begins to elevate naturally. Changing your routine isn't about becoming rigid. It's about becoming intentional. You choose what deserves your time instead of letting the world decide for you. You replace noise with focus and anxiety with direction. Each day becomes an investment in your future rather than a reaction to your past. Sometimes the smallest changes in routine lead to the biggest transformations. Waking up an hour earlier, reading a few pages each morning, exercising before work, or setting aside time for reflection. These shifts may seem minor, but over time, they reshape your mindset, your health, and your confidence. Your brain starts to adapt to these new patterns and begins to crave the feeling of progress. What once felt like effort becomes your new normal. That's when you know transformation has taken root. It's no longer something you're forcing, it's something you're living. Changing your routine also requires courage because it means breaking away from comfort and familiarity. It's easy to cling to old patterns, even when they no longer serve you. But growth demands discomfort. Every new routine feels awkward at first, but that's the sign that you're evolving. The resistance you feel isn't a barrier. It's proof that you're rewriting the script of your life. With time, the discomfort fades, and what once felt difficult becomes second nature. When your routine aligns with your goals, success becomes predictable. You no longer wonder whether you'll make progress. You expect it. Your days start to work for you, not against you. Every morning becomes an opportunity, every habit a stepping stone, every action a declaration of who you're becoming. And in the quiet discipline of your daily routine, you realize that destiny was never something waiting for you. It was something you were building all along.